everybody, I'm Colton back with episode 13 and our finale of our Pokemon Fire Red Hardcore Nuzlocke. And if you haven't watched the videos before, you can check out the playlist I made with all of them, just to catch up, or if you just want to see this, you can. But as you can see here, whenever I first went through the Elite Four, my footage got messed up right here with how it looks. And we ended up beating the entire Elite Four without losing a single Pokemon, by the way. I mean, I ran through it. And I'll show you here me beating the champion and taking down his, last Pokemon. But as you can see, the footage is all messed up. And I didn't want to gyp y'all out of, a legitimate run to the Elite Four. Because you can't see half the screen, which is annoying. I now have a problem with OBS after that. But yeah, so, I mean, as you can see, we take out the Blastoise and we beat the champion. But I didn't want to gyp y'all, so I went back through and I leveled all of my Pokemon up to level 70. And I did all of the post-game without letting anyone die. And I made it to where, we can face the Elite Four and do the rematch. Which no other Nuzlocker does, by the way. So I'm going out of my way to make this harder for myself because I want actual footage you can watch. So, gosh, it was a long day doing this. But I want y'all to have some good content. And I don't want the finale to be messed up because of friggin' OBS. So I went back through, like I said, I leveled up everyone pretty high up because the level cap's way higher. And now all the teams are different as well as their teams are higher leveled. And they have moves that are ridiculous, by the way. So we'll see how we do. And I cut through some of the Elite Four battles just because we kind of just, a lot of them are like this where we're just sitting here, we kind of wipe through a few Mons, honestly, pretty easily. Which, in my next run, I'm just going to do it completely live and try to make sure, like do live audio for it and make sure it doesn't mess up. Because I want y'all to hear my reactions, because there's a lot of times where I'm freaking out. But as for this one, for the Elite Four, not the champion, but just for the Elite Four, I skimmed through some parts. But yeah, I mean, we pretty much, the first Elite Four member, I just really don't like this Jinx. And we get lucky and paralyze it, which is huge. I mean, that helps us so much, because now we're faster. But I'm really worried about Bolt dying here. And I don't want Bolt to get taken out because, I go for Thunder and I miss, and I go for Shockwave and get a low roll hit, and then, we get taken out, because that is very frustrating. As you can see, everybody's highly leveled, except Eepee's just level 41, because he's here for the ride, He's, he's here for the ride. So I switch out to Majora, and I use Flamethrower, and we take out Jinx. I'm so glad, because it'll sit there and spam immobilize you. And I sent out Oddball, and he almost died, or she almost died, but ends up taking out the Lapras, despite the Ice Beams. And so now we're going on to the next Elite Four member, which is Bruno. And I'm not really worried about him very much at all. I mean, he just stinks. I mean, even in his rematch team, he has 2 Steelixes instead, but that doesn't really change up anything that much, to be honest. But yeah, I'm looking through my TMs here because I want to teach. I'm thinking about teaching Thunder to Gyarados, which sounds weird that, Gyarados can even learn that, but, it seems like a good idea. It's better than Bite. It has a really low accuracy, which, I know. I already have somebody who misses it half the time, but it's still good just to have in case. So for Bruno, we didn't lose anybody in the last one, which is good. I ended up sending out Big Blue in front, and he throws out a Steelix. I mean, we can just hit that with Surf, takes it out. I mean, Steelix and Onix are just really bad Pokemon. So they have Hitmonchan here, and I'm really worried about, because it does have Rock Slide, I'm pretty sure. Because I decided to look at these teams, because I'm going against level 65s and 70s, so decided to check. But, yeah, so as Rock Slide, it hits Gyarados pretty hard. I hit it with Rock Smash, which doesn't do very much damage at all. And eventually, after switching through Oddball and Bolt, I end up just going with that to hit it with Lightning or Thunder. And then I end up using Majora here to take out Machamp. He has a very close call, by the way. And I'm like, I'm risking it. So I use Fire Blast, take out the Steelix. Very dumb for me to risk that, but oh well. You know, we're just going to do it. So now we get ready for the third Elite Four member, which to me is the most annoying one that I was the most worried about, which is Agatha. And I'm just worried about the Hypnosis after, you know. So I'm hitting everybody with Fire Blast pretty much. Majora just does so much special attack damage. But this Gengar lives with literally 1 HP. She's going to spam full restores again. I use Flamethrower. And then I use another Flamethrower just to take it out. And then now she's the Crobat, which I end up sending Bolt out for. We're lucky to have made it this far without losing anybody. But she sends out Crobat, lands Confuse Ray, which is really not good. And I switch to Tyrone, who then is going to go ahead and hit it with Psychic, take it out. And so now her last Pokemon is Arbok, which we have Psychic on Tyrone, so that's what we're going to use. And Tyrone the homie takes out Agatha. So we've made it this far without losing anyone. And I am terrified. Came pretty close to losing a few, like Majora almost died, you know, and everything. But, yeah. Like, we've had a lot of close calls, but at least no one has. And also, I don't think we've had any goofy crits. But hey, we're doing alright. Everybody's living at the moment. So, as I'm going through here, this time I make sure to check that the footage doesn't mess up, so I saved. You know, like, please don't. And it didn't, so we keep going on through, and everything's going really smoothly, actually. We had a few bumps, but I mean, overall, pretty good. So, he throws out Gyarados. I throw out Tyrone first. And, you know, the thing that stinks is this Gyarados has, you know, Thunder Wave for some reason and Dragon Dance and stuff. So I hit it with Ice Beam, and eventually after, you know, I hit it with Thunder and I take it out with Big Blue instead. So then I go for Surf on Aerodactyl. It uses Ancient Power, which it just stinks that the Rock type moves do, like, you know, a move like that does so much damage. And eventually, after, you know, bouncing everyone around, I get to Oddball. Had to sacrifice Eepee, but hey. Gotta do what you gotta do. You know, EP was there. His sacrifice was not in vain. So Kingdra sits here. You know, just spamming Dragon Dances. I'm trying to hit it with Thunder to get it low. End up paralyzing it. Hit it again. And I swap out to Majora, and its paralysis, you know, prevails. Hit Dragonite. Fire Blast. And then eventually, you know, I swap out to Tyrone. Hit me with Outrage. And now Ice Beam's just wiping through the Dragonite. And we take out Lance. And the only casualty, you know, we had was Eepee and Bolt. Bolt got taken out by an Earthquake, but that's okay. And so finally we take on our rival L as the champion again. I don't know how he got back up here considering I beat him last time. So we melt through his Heracross in literally one hit. I mean, it's a joke. I mean, compared to Majora, it's just a joke. And so now I end up putting in Tyrone because it can't use any water-type moves on me or it'll just heal him. So I do some damage. He switches out to Tyranitar. And as I bait that out, I use Surf, which it sucks that it has Thunderbolt, but it does. Tyrone gets buffeted by the Sandstorm. We're doing so good, but we take him out. And Executor comes in, and I swap out to Majora, because this is what he's meant to do. He's gonna take out the Executor. He's gotta avenge everybody we've lost along the way. This run can't be for nothing. So I hit it with Fire Blast. He throws out Blastoise again. And so now what I do is I again am like, you know, instead of doing the which, I mean, honestly, Oddball is meant for me to take out this Blastoise. Like, this is what he's here for. But it's just like, do I throw him out there and he gets hit by Ice Beam or something? Because that would suck. So I'm just not really sure exactly what I want to do yet. No, I'm trying to decide here. Because it's like, because Tyrone has Water Absorb, so he'll heal if he gets hit by water. And Oddball will resist either way. So, I mean, this is what Oddball is meant to do. Gotta send him out there. Gotta send her out there. This is what she's meant for, you know. She did a lot already, but this is like the part in the final battle she's meant for. So it sets up Rain Dance, which I really don't mind it, you know. And I'm considering like, well, I could change out a Tyrone, but I probably should just let Oddball, you know, do their thing. And so I go to Sleep Powder here, hoping it lands. Really hoping it lands. And I get crit by Ice Beam. So, you know, that didn't matter. Big Blue comes out. I hit Blastoise with Thunder. And it doesn't take it out or anything. But since the Rain Dance is out here, that's the reason I'm doing it. Has a Citrus Berry. I hit it with Thunder again, and it lives on, like, no HP! Just go down! And then, you know, paralyzed. Use a full restore. You can't be Pokemon League champion without spamming full restores. So it sits here spamming full restores constantly over and over and over again. So we run out of Thunders. And I end up switching out to Tyrone here. Because Tyrone can tank a good bit of the stuff that this Blastoise can use. And if it uses any water moves, it'll heal it. So I just sit here using Ice Beam. We get a good crit. Use Ice Beam again, it gets low. Hits me with Ice Beam. Uses another full restore. He has an infinite amount of them. I love whenever I can't use items, but, you know, this guy sits here and spams them. Uses Rain Dance, and I take that into account, and I'm like, oh, well, that means I can use water moves and they do more damage, even if it's, you know, against water types. So I use Surf, and it's doing a lot of damage. And it only takes one more Surf to take out Blastoise, and we do it. So his final two Pokemon are Alakazam and Arcanine. The Arcanine I'm not much worried about, but this Alakazam does scare me. Tyrone falls. It's a sad day. But we use Fire Blast against Alakazam. It gets to red. And we only got to do one more thing. Try to take it out with Flamethrower. It goes to half. And this Fire Blast needs to land, and it does. And we take out Alakazam and Majora, who's been with us along the way. We cannot afford to just do a switch out to Big Blue. We can't. So Majora's just got to do the damage he can do. You know, I wish, you know, we could have had it, like, where nobody died, like, the end of the first run, but, you know, it's looking like, you know, Majora's just, he's holding on, he's doing some damage. But we just cannot afford to throw Big Blue out there. He uses Overheat on Majora, and sadly takes him out. Majora he did so great on this run. Who comes out, and I know he should be able to tank a good bit, and has Intimidate too, so I mean the extreme speed's just not going to do all that much. At least it shouldn't, as long as I don't get crit here. It's our two final Pokemon. This is the chance right here. I either lose the run, or I can win. We hit Arcanine with Surf. And that's it. And we beat Pokemon Fire Red. Doing a hardcore Nuzlocke, by the way. Beat the Elite Four not once, but twice. And we did the rematch. And I'm pretty proud, because this is the first one I've ever done all the way through, let alone a hardcore Nuzlocke. So, I mean, I'm ecstatic about that. But yeah, so we get to enter into the Hall of Fame again. But also, even though we may have lost lost some along the way. This team will always be special to me because, man, they've been along for the ride. Especially I had to do the post game as well, so they've been along a lot longer. But yeah, so I'm happy I finally did this. I mean, as lame as it is, this is pretty important to me just because I've always played Pokemon games and I always wanted to start a YouTube channel, and this is completing my first series, and as well as like it's with a Pokemon game, and you know I'm glad that I could do this, and I'm gonna keep going. But I hope this is just the beginning. This was a really fun series to do. If y'all have any suggestions for the next ones, let me know. But with that, this is it for our Pokemon Fire Red Hardcore Nuzlocke, and thank you guys for watching, and there'll be some art from my friend at the end of the video, so I hope y'all watch till the end to see that. But yeah, so I'll just let that play out. Thank you guys so much for watching.